We have Martin and then David. I see you want to narrate. Martin, David, and then...
Martin Fackler with the New York Times. Welcome to the FCCJ. Thank you for your very philosophical speech, and thank you to George for your very impassioned introduction. You mentioned regrets, and I want to ask about another issue during your administration, which is Futenma. You came to power, one of the great opportunities in post-war Japanese political history for something to happen, and you seem to allow your government to become consumed and ultimately undone by the issue of a single runway or airbase. I wonder, could you tell us, now that you're out of power, what happened? In particular, what about the U.S.? I mean, did they put the pressure on too hard? Can you tell us, did they mishandle it? I'm just curious what, how you would look at things now, and and how you understand what happened now. Thank you.
まず私が総理を辞めた理由の一つに普天間が挙げられます。ただ私としては自分自身政治改革を志してきて、総理になって自分自身の身に政治と金の問題が起きるとは全く予想していなかった。この自分の身の問題で参議院の選挙で仲間を落としてしまうということがとてもつらかったので、そちらの方が私の辞める理由としては極めて大きかったということは申し上げておきます。ただおっしゃる通り普天間のことに関して、最終的には日米の間で辺野古の元の場所に戻るということで、沖縄の県民の皆さん方に大変な心配と怒りと迷惑をかけてしまったと、そのことも非常に辛い思いでございました。何が起こったかということでありますが、私としては一国の領土に他国の軍隊が存在をして一国の安全が守られているということは、これは世界史的に見て、当然だとは思っておりません。したがってどんな時間がかかっても日本の防衛は日本の国自身がもっとしっかりと行わなければならないと、そのように思っていました。したがって、その方向に向けての一つのステップとして普天間の移設先もできれば国外、あるいは最低でも県外に移設をしたかったというのは偽らざる思いでございます。しかしながらこれは軍事的な必要性の中で海兵隊をいわゆる地上の部隊とそしてヘリの部隊というものを切り離すことができないというアメリカ側の事情が強く主張されて、結論として沖縄の県内にしかその代替地を見出すことができなくなったというのが私のこの県外すら諦めざるを得なかった最大の理由であります。海兵隊の地上部隊とそしてヘリ部隊そ それを共に全てを沖縄の県外にあるいは国外に移設をして、そしてそれでもいわゆるトータルとしての米軍の抑止力というものが、核弾抑止力が有効に抑止力が働くということであるということを私としても信頼をして、そしてそのトータルとしての海兵隊全体を海外に移設するということが可能であるならば、そのことの模索もできたと思いますが、時間的にもそれが不可能であったということがございます。私はしたがって最初からある意味でアメリカとそれから防衛省とさらには外務省も自民党時代からの深い議論の中で、海兵隊の普天間を移設するという問題を取り上げた場合に、その移設先は沖縄の中にしかありえないんだということを彼らの中で結論を得ていたというふうに思っておりまして、残念ながら私自身の発想というものを、考え方を総理として強く推し進めることができなかった。これはアメリカの圧力ということよりも、むしろ日本の国内の役所の中の論理の中にもそのことが存在していなかったということを、逆に言えばそれを押し切るだけのある意味での自分の意思というものを強く主張することができなかったということに尽きるのではないかと思います。
It is quite often said that one of the reasons that I stepped away from the post of Prime Minister was because of the Futenma issue. But I would like to explain that I began my political career with the great desire to implement political reform. In other words, I had great aspirations in the kind of politics that I wanted to see realized in this nation. Therefore, it never occurred to me that I myself would be subjected to criticism, especially criticism regarding the relationship between politics and money. That was an argument that I had never expected to come to me because I had these great aspirations. In spite of this, however, this did become a very big political issue during the upper house elections. As a result of this becoming such an issue, I saw many of my colleagues lose their seats in the Diet. That was something that caused me great personal pain, and it is this that was the largest factor in my deciding to step away from the Prime Minister's position. But as you've also pointed out, yes, Futenma was also a very important issue for me. In the end, the fact that because we were not able to come to an agreement with the United States to move to move Futenma to a place other than to Henoko, which was the place that was originally decided upon, was something that brought great anxiety, great anger, and great inconvenience to the people of Okinawa. That also caused me great personal pain. In regard to what happened, my fundamental feeling about this issue was that when you look at the history of the world, the idea of having another nation's military based on a nation's soil and depending on that military to provide protection for that country is something that is not quite appropriate. It is not something that you see in the world, and I felt that even though this would be an issue that would take some time to resolve, this is something that the Japanese should not shirk away from in terms of spending money and spending effort to try to resolve this issue. I felt very, very strongly that Futenma should be moved outside. An alternate site for Futenma should be found outside of Japan, and if not outside of Japan, at least outside of the prefecture. From the point of view of military necessity, however, the United States side felt apparently very strongly that the Marines could not work as separate units. What I mean by this is that there is the land-based troops, and then there are the air-based troops, which are the helicopter troops in the situation here. And the Americans felt very strongly from the point of view of operating these two units that they could not be physically located far apart. As a result, they had to be located together. I felt very strongly that perhaps if we had had enough time and perhaps if we had been able to negotiate more strongly, then perhaps a different answer could have been found. However, in conclusion, I believe that as I became involved in this process, I came to realize that there had been a long process of negotiation in regard to this issue, a long discussion that had been held for years and years between the United States, the Japanese Ministry of Defense, and the Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And there seems to have been a conclusion held by all parties that these two units, the land-based units and the helicopter units, simply could not be separated in any way. Therefore, you asked if was there pressure from the United States. I would not necessarily say that it was pressure from the United States. I think there was a conviction within many of the bureaucracies within Japan that no other possibility existed. If I had more time, and perhaps if I had had more push this idea more strongly, a different conclusion could have been achieved. However, this was not possible.
We have David, then Anthony.